Okay, right. One more supine, and then we're going to do a majority of the work standing. Okay, you're going to need a chair as well, okay, to place the foot on. You could use the couch because you're not going to be stepping onto it. So anything that's raised up about knee height is going to be good. Right. One, just to give our kind of lumbar spine a little bit of mobility. So it's going to be supine, like we did at the start. The head blocks if you need it. We've got some of this clutter. Right. I know you both do Pilates, so this one's going to be kind of familiar to you both. Okay, legs kind of feet flat to the floor and feet kind of relatively close, if not touching. Okay, as you lie down, just take a few breaths, check in with your pelvic placement, and then ever so slightly, just allow the legs to pass to one side slowly. The side you're moving to, I want you to rotate and have that palm down on the ground. The other palm just reaches the ceiling. And just allow the legs to tilt. Or keep a mindful eye on what happens to the opposite shoulder blade. I want you to keep that grounded. Okay? Pause when you get to your position and maybe a little bit of 12 o'clock posterior tilt. But otherwise, when your leg drops, it can massively arch your back and upset that. So a little bit of 12 and then bring the legs back to center. Now this palm that was up, now press it, so it lifts up, the other palm presses down. So the side that the legs want to press that palm into the ground. Keep the opposing shoulder blade grounded. And bit by bit, just start to move freely left and right. But I cannot stress enough, guys, keep a little bit of posterior tilt on. Otherwise, you'll get the legs will almost drop over and your back will arch and that point. We do not want that. So keep that subtle posterior tilt. Do a couple more each side. Allow the head to turn maybe the same direction, maybe a different direction. But if we try and keep the upper body in its place, we're now getting our movement through the mid to lower back. Okay, here's more of a challenge now. You can maintain with that. I propose we try this next one in tabletop. So one leg, bring it up, and allow the knee, see my thigh bone is vertical, I want to allow the knee to pull back a bit more, and then lower the ankle. Whereby if I'm holding that position, it's not going to cause me too much stress, whereas if I'm here, too much. There. Okay, bring the other leg up next to it, pause. Arms out to the sides, palms facing the ceiling. Now obviously the legs are not going to be tilting so far, but allow them just to tilt to one side. The side you're going to, like before, rotate, place that palm down. Listen to the opposite shoulder blade as the legs go one way. Give the posterior tilt. Pause, press into the down arm, and use your arm and your hand to assist in drawing the legs back to the center. Go the other way. Almost brace the core muscles as the legs tilt. Keep the opposite shoulder blades somewhat grounded. I like to do an inhale to let the legs turn, and an exhale to bring them back. Challenge the depth, but listen to the opposite shoulder blade. Trying to let that lift off the floor. Breathing. Inhale on the tilt. Exhale on the pull back. One more each side. Opposite shoulder blade. Think about it. Back to center. Legs down. Okay. That's enough of the floor work. Right? Let's stand up. Let's move. Okay. Let's bring the chair near you, if not in front of you. Okay. What I want you to do first, I know you both work with me on this one. We're gonna kind of go into what we call a split stance or a unilateral stance. Okay. So I want you to start with the right leg in front, and you're gonna have to be looking at the camera. If you can see yourself full length, brilliant. Look at it. There's your mirror. Okay, so what I want you to do, right leg in front, and I want you to look if your right shin bone is vertical. Because even when I'm in house and I'm seeing people set themselves up, they're either here, or more often than not, they're kind of there with the knee. See if my shin is not vertical there. Pull it back, have a vertical chin. Then have a slight angle on the thigh bone. Okay? So I'm not joint stacking, I'm not there vertical. Sit the hip back a little bit. The back foot being my left leg, the heel is lifted. Okay? There. There. Pride yourself on the positions with this. Okay, engage your core, i.e. retract the navel, expand your ribs at the same time. But as you do that, guys, just be careful that you don't then straighten the leg, right? You almost got to kind of dissociate here, upper and lower body. So I'm pulling my navel in, expand my ribs there, ready to work. And what I want you to do is very gently, you're going to extend the front leg, you're going to bring the other foot up, and you're going to tap it gingerly on the chair or the couch or whatever you've got in front. And I want you to look at this point now, ankle, knee, hip is vertical there. And if I can just raise my foot off the chair or even just bounce tipped up, there's my glutes working. Yeah, if my hips are shifted forward, there, it's instantaneous, it just switches off. So try not to shift the hips forward as we lift it up. Bring the foot back, just onto the tiptoes, pause there. Again, vertical shin. Elevate the ribs, pull the tummy in. Lift, tap, gently back, change. Lift, tap. This is all about your standing leg burn. Okay, should be feeling that glute work. And if the knees are pushed forward, or if you're not in the right position, you will not feel this. Up. And maybe bring the arms into the equation as well. So if you're lightening, you're lifting your left leg as you get to that position. I'll show you this. As I'm lifting my left leg up, I'm going to lift my right arm up as well. There. Yeah, contralateral reciprocation. My left leg comes forward, my right arm goes. It's how we walk, right? Opposites. So they need to be reciprocal in our movements. Keep the tummy pulled in, keep the rib cage elevated. If you forget anything, don't forget that. Lift, extend. Now we can add rotation to this. I'll show you from the front view. As I'm lifting my left leg up, I want my ribs to rotate to that leg. There, right, and then gently back. A little bit of rib rotation to the right to start. Lift, 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 little tap. Let's do 2 or 3 more, because my glute's going to fall off in a moment. It's not about how many you do, it's how you do it. Keep the elevation, keep your abdominals scooped out and braced. Functional bracing of the core. So your deep transverse abdominals are holding this all together. Okay, woo! That was a challenge. Something so simple as just a chair, just a foot tap. Okay, let's try the other side. So again, let's not get ahead of ourselves and rush through this. The left leg in front for me, right foot behind. I'm going to sink into the hips just a touch there. And I'm just going to check. The Adidas stripes are a dead giveaway actually, so we'll have our chins vertical or not. Okay, pause there. Navel, rib cage, hold. Like it's a challenge for me. I'm talking to you now, and you probably think, get on with it, it's quite hard holding this. That's what I want to feel like. I could passively stand there and relax. Easy. I don't want to relax. I want to connect, connect, connect. Okay, same again. Extend the leg first, and I go to full hip extension here. Hence why we did all that rolling at the start. Place the foot. There, just check pause there on your first one, like we did with the other. Ankle, knee, hip, vertical. Just an ever soft bend of the knee, trying to fully lock the leg out. Bring it back, bring the foot back. And it will challenge your balance, but ultimately, before the foot lifts, if we just lift the foot, are we getting glutes there? We should be hitting that target area. There. Up. Now, as we did on the other side, I can start to add that. The arm movements, my right leg lifts, my left arm lifts. My right leg comes down, my right arm lifts. There. Again, if you forgot, deepen the core connections. One of the things I tend to do is I'm looking at my reflection of everything else that's going on. So obviously, apparently so they say, it's only guys that can't multitask, so I'm proving them wrong. Okay, now add the rotation. So if the right leg comes up, you rotate, spiral your ribs up to the right. Pause there. We still got that vertical leg, or we kind of here. That's going to crush your back. There's where you need to be. Slowly back. Let's do that 3 more times. So drive the left heel into the floor. Extend the leg as you lift the right leg up. Keep the vertical. Keep the balance. 1 more time, 2 more times in fact. I reckon I've got that. Tap, back, 1 more, tap, and back. Woo, 1 more. Let's take advantage of this chair, okay? Of having the chair, not take advantage of it, like break it. Okay, bring a small weight to the equation, please. I want you to, now we're just kind of adding things on, okay? Keep a little bit of continuity with this. I want the weight, whether it be the kettlebell or dumbbell, in your right hand. Yeah, so that's how we hold the kettlebell, as if you didn't already know. That's called a rack hold, okay? Not like that, like that. If you hold the dumbbell, it's exactly the same. Strong forearm, elbow to wrist vertical. And then from there, pull the arm in towards your ribs.
So I could stand talking to you there in standing posture. Yeah, not this, not that, there. So your little pinky finger is facing away from you. Okay, let me think about this. Right, yeah. So we're going to go with the right leg balance, the right leg in front, left leg behind, exactly the same as you just did. But the only difference is we're going to push that weight overhead as you lift the opposite leg. So I'm going to weight to my right hand. I'm going to check in with my posture. I'm going to extend my right leg as the weight starts to push. I'm going to bring my left foot to there. Nice long line down that right hand side. Okay? Bring the arm down, bring the left leg back. There. So it's this little dinky lunge. I'm trying to just get a little bit of that lunge pattern coming in. So from here, extend. There. Keep your core engaged. That will help you out with your balance. Right up. Boom. Are we there? Are we doing this? Oh, I've got a 10-pound weight, and if I move slowly through this, it feels like 30 pounds. Tummy muscles engaged. Keep the balance. Let's do that 2 or 3 more times. I'm not trying to rush it, because I think if we go quicker, it won't quite. That's it. That's me done. Shoulders on fire. Whew. Okay. So weight in your left hand. So the left leg's going to be in front. Right foot behind. And again, the right heel is lifted. You'll note to yourself, if you bring the back heel down, how unstable you are there. When the back heel's up, there, in this stance which is kind of the onset to any dynamic activity taking place, right? So you think about this, if you're going to throw something, no doubt you'll be in that stance as you throw. If you're going to step over something, you'll be here prior to the step. If you're going to punch someone's lights out, you will be here. The back heel down, very unstable, very rocky. So get the heel up, again, check the shins vertical, tuck the weight in, brace the core with the navel pulling in and the ribcage elevating. I'm lifting my right foot up as my left arm reaches overhead. There. Again, like I said before, watch me don't have the anterior shift of the pelvis, because that will upset your spine and it won't work your glute. The arm comes down, the leg comes back at the same time. Vertical chin, up, there. Shh. Be careful when you come down here, I don't want to see that from either of you. There with the shin. Up. It's hard to look at the camera and actually do this. I'm going to keep my head forward for the next few. Just checking the positions off the heel. Full hip extension on my left leg and a hip hinge on my right. Contralateral reciprocation. 2 more. Up. There. Okay? Right. I'm just going on my gut feeling now. I'm going to utilize the chair again for 1 more. Right? It's going to be a plank. It's going to be a plank whereby I'm looking at, I want you to feel that your body is relatively straight, okay? So there's a lot of energy needed in the legs, and there's obviously a lot of core needed. But also that the hands, where you position your hands on that chair, whatever you're holding to, just be careful the arms don't lock out and you don't round your back like this. Because I could hold this, like that, see my back's all flexed, I could probably hold that for hours, seriously. But as soon as I go into my position, and I'm adding a softening of the elbows and energy in my legs and digging my tummy, pulling it in, that feels like I'm talking seconds rather than hours, right? So, when you're ready, take the chair, just make sure that the arms are directly pressing down onto it, okay? Try not to be here with it. Because obviously the chair is going to roll away. Right, so directly over the top, soften up the elbows, send one leg back, pause. Okay, start to brace your core now as you keep the elbows softened and slightly turned in with the elbows, slightly this way, just a touch of that. And then send the other leg back. We'll just hold it for a few seconds. I'm not trying to break any records tonight. And just check the camera, check we're looking at less thoracic flexion and a little bit of extension in your T-spine. Energy on your legs, so you really kind of almost feel like the heels are pushing away from you. And we've got core engagement. I've got my inner thighs magnetizing together there a little bit. And then I soften the elbows and turn the elbows in towards each other. And just hold that out for a few counts. And don't necessarily need to follow me. You can just come up in between. Shake it out a little bit. Just do little and often with this. Okay, we're going to progress that to a leg pull. Okay, so again, contrary to what we've been doing so far, there. That's all you're going to be doing in the plank position. Yeah, hip extension, hip flexion. It's how we move. One hip extends, one hip flexes. There's extension, there's flexion. There's extension, there's flexion. Okay? So I want us to be gearing our training around the gait patterns. What we kind of do more than anything in life is we move our body, is we walk. So like we're walking with our arms out in front here. Okay, here we go. Get the position. Tummy nice and tight. Okay, pull one knee in. There's my flexion. There's my other hip extension. Gently bring that back. Keep checking in that the elbows are soft, slightly turned in. You've got that thoracic extension going on, and you're bracing the core to protect your back. In to pull, slowly up. Trying to go too quick with this. Ooh, it's getting tough now. My arms are starting to shake. Okay, can we do one more each side slowly? I want you to be challenged, but just the right amount of repetitions, not going too much. It's a little bit of full body. I think our pelvis is in a better position now after that. Standing nice and tall. Okay, we don't need the chair again. Yay! Fix the chair. Okay, we're going to play around with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Okay? I'm going to do what we call a pendulum squat. Okay, so I think, Bill, you've done these with me before. I'm pretty sure Linda has. I'm going to suggest we try it without the weight first. Okay, so get yourselves feet kind of hip width apart or thereabouts, and then just check your standing posture side on. So we might have tidy feet positions put in here. So get the alignment. Okay, we'll go through this slowly. So what you're going to do first, you're going to have, if you've got two weights of the same value, brilliant, use them both. In fact, I might do that. If you only have one weight, you're going to have to pass it to the other hand at the top. Yeah? So I'm taking for granted you've only got one, but if you have two, so you're going to be doing that with one weight. And just getting a nice swing going with the arms. It's not too passive, I'm not too kind of relaxed in it, it's just pulling me all over, keeping the tensegrity here, swing, little clap at the top, and then each time the weight of your arm comes back, we're just going to adopt that little squatting pattern. There. Okay? Just try and, where possible for both of you, move back a bit. Try and have the shin bones the same kind of angle as your torso. So I'm kind of here, not there. See the angles there? Got this angle of my torso and my shins are there. So try and have the same angle as we swing. Sit back, heavy on the heels here. And as we come to full hip extension, the arms are going to be on shoulder, head height. Okay? Swing back. Then we start to become a little bit more dynamic with it. There, stand. Yeah? Right, feels better with a weight. So take your weight. I'm going to demonstrate first with a single weight, and I'm going to try two. Because I'm partly using this as my workout time as well. So weight up like that. And again, throw the weight forward. Hinge and catch. Don't let go of it. Minimize how much the knees come shooting forward here. Sit the hip back, okay? Like there's a little chair behind you. And each time the weight comes back, you're going to tap your bum on the chair. And get your breath pattern with it. So if you look from the front view, just look at symmetry. Trying to let the knees turn. Trying to minimize how much my hips rock. Anything that basically looks out of alignment. Try and fix it. There's a lot can be done by you watching and changing things, and just catching away at the top, heavy on the heels all the time. Keep the core engaged. So there's a nice flow with this now. Yeah, trying to rush it. Okay, have a little breather. I'm just going to take a sip of water. I'm going to try my second set with two weights. And this exercise it's a really useful way of developing your squat, because as the weight comes back, it puts some length potential in here. However, how I used to teach, I would just have two big dirty weights here, and I would squat with the weights and come back up, and it seriously just compresses the heck out of you. Whereas the weight swings, it gets less compression, better function when we come out of there. So if you've got two weights, if you've only got the same weight, let's repeat. Again, I'm going to start with a little bit of momentum first with the weights. And then start to just have that little dink in the hips. Try not let the knees come forward too much. And just be patient with it. Just be patient. Heavy on the heels. Just keep that tummy pulled in, the ribcage elevated. Oh, feel a nice bit of a hamstring stretch there, Bill. It's a way to come back. Yeah, heavy on the heels. Like we did on that wall stretch earlier. Very similar to the standing thing we did. But you bend the legs a bit more. Okay, 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Hope that made sense. Hope it made sense. Right, it's getting a bit warm in here now. I'm going to strip a layer on for the last 5 minutes. If that. I'm only sweating for the live group coming in. Okay, still keeping with that single weight. But instead of going into what we call the bilateral stance, which is parallel, we're going to go into your unilateral stance, like we just did before we stepped up on the chair. So check in, weight in your right hand, right leg in front, pause there. Check your right shin is vertical, and your right thigh bone has a slight angle on it like that. See that? Drops down vertical, sits back. Left heel is up. Okay, quite a lot of core bracing on this. There. Okay, bring the weight up onto the opposite shoulder. Okay, so my right leg's in front, the weight's on my left shoulder. I can't stress enough how much you need to identify that your deep core is switched on throughout. Okay, and let's slowly just go up in the root. So it's going to be a woodchop. So I'm going to bring the weight from here. I'm going to throw it slowly diagonally across. It's going to come round to almost like my outer kind of glute of my right leg, and I'm going to break the arms back. So try and look at your reflection doing this, and try and keep everything still from the hips down, literally. Even watch to the degree the angle your back foot is, because it's going to be a bit pointless if the back foot's kind of over there. Have everything pointing forward. Chop. Back up. Keep the tummy pulled in, the rib cage elevated. Keep checking in with that. We create extra tension throughout our body to make it work. Okay, now we can maybe start to get a little bit more dynamic with this. So more like a golf swing here. Chop, swing back, pause. Chop, swing back, pause. And just know what happens to my hip as I chop. My hip sits back a bit here. See that? I'm sticking my hip back, keeping the vertical shape, and then back up. There. Yeah, so you're not still in the legs doing this. Sit the hip back, load up that front heel, get the glute working. Okay, same side. We're just kind of adding things on, but I want you to swap the stance. And I want you to do this with a step. Okay, so it's going to be a step to a woodchop. So it looks like this. Left leg in front now, hold the weight on your left shoulder. Okay, you're going to step the right foot forward, chop, step back. On the back toes, carefully as you step back, you don't let that heel go. If you go too far with the step back, you're going to lose the balance and the tensegrity. And again, step forward, chop here, back, pause. Almost like musical statues. Once you've got the step back, how quickly can you nail that position? There. So dynamic, go for it. Chop, step, pause. Chop, step, pause. I could even just go one arm. I could go with my right. There. Pause. I could go with my left. There. Pause. We're going to do both. Yeah? So you've got all those variables you can try. I like the double arm, personally. So step, there. And as we're stepping into it, you're on that front heel there. Hips come back, step back, pause. And that's working your slings, guys, because as the right leg steps forward, naturally, we should be having rotation to the leg step. Right, let's switch that to the other side before we run out of time. So left leg in front, right foot behind. And these exercises, you know, you remember them and try them on your own. Really, really useful, especially when you get good at them and then you can increase the weight. I mean, this feels a hell of a lot harder with a 35-pound kettlebell as opposed to a 10. Okay? So just do this one static first. So remember the stance, I'll reiterate. Vertical shin, thoracic extension, nail the core, swing just past the front leg. Back, opposite shoulder. So shoulder to hip, back again. Keep the navel pulled in, keep the rib cage expanded. Same as before. Once we've got that information dialed in and we're comfortable, I can start to get a little bit more dynamic. But if you feel that dynamic part changes your posture and it ruins it, then please don't do so much of it. Keep it simple. Proper progression, mastering one level of development before proceeding to the next, right? Right, let's have that step. So the right leg's in front, left leg behind, take a step forward, chop, step back, pause. Again, if the cause not switched on, you will fall flat onto the heel. There. Boom. Like a nice chop. Reach around. Boom. Past the leg. Back. Keep the core on. Keep the core on. Okay, try. If you want to try with the opposite hand, go for that. So go there, back, or I can go more of a lateral chop. Back. Or you can keep it simple and just go doubles. 3 more. 2. 1. And I think the time's got the best of us. Unfortunately, that's enough.